Welcome back to another episode of Inside of the Editor's Mind. Today, I'm going to walk you through the photo that's here on the screen and what I kind of was doing when I was building this image up. Now, this is what the image looks like without any of the edits, and it's nothing impressive. And for what it's worth, I would argue that the final edit isn't really all that impressive. But this is an image that I captured a little while ago and I was inspired to do something with it. I didn't know what. It's a lot of grays and not very enticing. So I want to go ahead and kind of talk you through what I was thinking when I was editing this particular image. Stay tuned. So here we are inside of the effects module, and what you can see is I have a lot of filters on this image. So the first one is just a color enhancer, and that's really just to kind of bring out the colors in the image, which there isn't much. And in my mind, originally, I wanted to make those brighter so that way they really stood out when I went black and white. But obviously that didn't work out the best. But you'll see once I get this built up, you'll see that the enhancements here, which are really just inside of the red channel, the blue channel. I think I may have done something in the orange as well, but the yellow, green, and all the other ones that just don't apply, I didn't really touch anything in there. So let's go ahead and minimize that one and turn on the black and white filter. Now with the black and white filter, because I had already modified the colors and there really wasn't much color response to get out of this image, I didn't mess with the color response itself. As you can see, that's all left alone inside of the conversion section. However, inside of the tone section, I just went ahead and clicked auto on, and I let ON1 do the heavy lifting here, because really what I was trying to do is just get a look on the image and not spend a whole lot of time with the edit overall. So that's all that I really did there. And of course, here is the before and the after, just showing you what that looks like. Then I started thinking, okay, what can I do with the black and white image overall? So the next thing was a texture. And the texture here is a vintage dust overlay. Now, you may not have access to this, and that's okay. The point of using textures and other assets inside of the ON1 suite is really just to explore. So right here, I have a lot of textures that I have installed. Pretty much everything that's below this My Textures section, everyone's going to have different textures, but you can purchase textures from all over the place. The ON1 Vintage Textures is something that I got from the ON1 Plus. So, of course, if you want to purchase a subscription to the ON1 Plus, you can do so. I have a link in the description that'll take you over to the ON1 website, but I also have a coupon code, which is FreeWillPhotos20. I do make a small commission, but I greatly appreciate everyone who uses it. Now, back to the edit here. You can absolutely change these around, but I'm not going to worry about that. I just went ahead and went with Vintage Dust 1, and that just added in a little bit of these dust specks to give this like a gritty, dirty look overall. And it also darkened down the image. And then I just pulled the opacity down so that way it wasn't so strong. And because this texture is actually pretty dark, I had to pull up on the brightness because it was making the image a little too dark. Now, the next one is the antique filter. And this is not a filter that I use often, but even though I don't use it often, I do experiment with it. And this is one of the cases where I was experimenting. As you can see, I don't have it up to 100%. I pulled it down to 35. I'm using the Istanbul color item here, which in the drop down, there's not more than these cities that are actually listed here, or these color presets, if you will. But I selected Istanbul, and I did make some changes here where I pulled up on the brightness and I faded the image. So if I turn it off and turn it back on, you can see it just adds in this sepia tone look. And combining the black and white filter with antique filter is really, really fun. You could absolutely use something else to add in some of this sepia tone look. But for me, I wanted to go with the antique filter primarily because I get this slider called fade, and this fade slider is actually a lot of fun to play around with. You can essentially just soften the blacks. Now, could you do this with the curves? Absolutely. But I like using this slider, and it saves me from having to go into the curves. So that's the main reason why I go with this tool. So we'll just put that back about there. Then I actually did put in a curve because I wasn't getting the same level of fade that I was hoping to get with that tool. So I went ahead and modified the curve, and I played around with this. I'll be honest, I don't know exactly where I settled. I know that I got somewhere, and I tweaked this after I actually added in some of these other filters. So it's hard for me to tell you, but I do remember I opened up the curve and I said, you know what? I just want to fade this to really take away some of those harsher blacks down here and make this look like it was an image that came out of an old point and shoot disposable film camera. That was kind of my idea. I don't know if I achieved that look or not. You let me know in the comment section below, but that's kind of where I was trying to go with that. Then, of course, I jumped into a glow. Now, with the glow, I just wanted to soften everything that was happening in the image. So as soon as I turn it off, you can see like there's these more defined lines around the glasses, around the computer, even just these little fine areas in the grip of my Sony. If I turn off or turn on the glow, you can see it just kind of lightens up all of those areas, and it really is noticeable in the computer here. It's just not as dark of a line or pronounced of a line. That's all that this was. This is actually a really, really subtle look, but for me, it makes it look like the light was just hazy. Yeah, I guess that's the best way of explaining it. I added in a little bit of haziness to the overall image, and that's what this glow filter is doing. I changed it to lighten to do that. Then, of course, I threw on a tone enhancer, and the only thing that this tone enhancer is doing, let me just minimize everything. The only thing that this tone enhancer is doing is negative detail. So if I increase this back up to 0, where it's the default, and then as I pull this down, you can see it's just taking away detail from the image to make the image look less clinically sharp. And that's actually a really good technique if you're going for more old style looking images. All right. Now, I threw on a blur because I said, you know what? This image is still looking a little too sharp. So I just went ahead and blurred it. And you can see with a surface blur how much it just takes away that fine detail. And hopefully on YouTube, the compression isn't like removing too much of this. But if I toggle back between each of this, this is with it on and this is with it off. Hopefully you can see the detail, especially here in the lens. So if I turn that on and then turn it off, hopefully you're seeing like it's just a little blurred, and that's okay. That's actually what I'm going with. I wanted this to be soft focused, or at least give that perception of being soft focused. So I went with a medium threshold, and then I changed the from Gaussian to surface blur, cranked the amount up just a little bit to break the edge. Then of course I went to film grain, and I needed to add in a little bit of grain. Now, I know that this is not going to come through on the YouTube compression, but for the final image, it added in just a little bit of grit to help me see the effect take full shape. And then I added in a texture. Now, this texture, I went ahead and pulled the saturation out of it because it is a film burn. And this film burn should come with the base version or the release version of ON1. So everyone should have access to this if you want to test it out. But I really enjoy playing with film burns on old looking images like this but obviously I wanted to go black and white, so I had to take the saturation out of it. And then I just went ahead and pulled the brightness all the way up because it was just darkening the image way too much for me. So I just went ahead and pulled it all the way up. So that way that film burn, you probably notice it if I turn it off and then turn it back on. But in the initial image, it just kind of fades in. And that's what I enjoy about using overlays on my images or textures. And then the last texture that I have here is really just gridding up these corners and kind of going around. It's a monochrome texture as well, putting some scratches over here. It's very, very minor detail information, but for me, it just helps sell the final effect of this overall look. So again, here is the before, and then here is the after. So hopefully you found some value in today's content. If you did, smash the like button and consider subscribing if you haven't already. If you want to learn more about using ON1 Photo Raw, I recommend signing up for a one-on-one training call with me. You can do so by clicking the link in the description box below. If you want to save some money when shopping over at the ON1 store, consider using my coupon code FreeWillPhotos20 whenever you check out. Just note that it doesn't work if there are promotional items in the cart, or at least it doesn't work on promotional items. If you got questions about ON1 Photo Raw or photography in general, let me know down in the comment section below. Until next time, I want you to stay inspired and keep creating. Peace.